In the second episode of our session, let's start integrating React with our Laravel application that we freshly installed. So the first thing we have to do is install Laravel UI, and we can install that using Composer again. So the basic command is just laravel UI and require it in Composer, which will install Laravel UI basically, and its dependencies. After that, we have to use PHP Artisan to install React using UI. And as you may already be familiar with Laravel, that it comes with Artisan. So the easiest way to install React is then using the command artisan UI React, which will build the scaffolding for us, and then it advises to run npm install and npm run dev. So npm install basically install the dependencies, and the run dev compiles all your assets and put the JavaScript files into your public JavaScript folder. So let's run the command and see. So it is installing. Let's go through this very quickly. Okay. So I want to show you also that Composer. As you can see in Composer, you can see it has required, when we do require Laravel UI, and you can check it in Composer JSON. And in Webpack, it also builds the sources and the output for both the JavaScript and the CSS files, which you can see. It's not a big deal, but if you want to dig deeper into it, you can always read the documentations. It's available in Laravel's website. So let's go through this quickly again. Installation. Okay. Right. And as you can see, it's taking the file app.js in the resources, and it's putting the compiled file in a public JS folder. The same with the SaaS. It's using the resources and putting it into the public CSS folder. Let's see it. All right, let's go to first the JavaScript, and let's see that. Okay, so after installing React, it is created a component for us, which is, it has required it in our main app.js file. And if we go to the public folder, the resources folder, we can see the component, the example component that it has created for us while installing the React or integrating the React. Excuse my terms, sometimes I'm new to making videos, so I sometimes mess things up. Right. So as you can see in public, we haven't got any JavaScript file yet. It's because we have to run the npm run dev again to compile all the files again, your assets. So now once it finishes, it should create a folder in the public folder, and it has been created, as you can see it. There we go. And it has a bunch of things which we normally don't touch this folder. We normally take the folder that we have in the resource files. So you have two JavaScript files. One is in the resource file, and then you have to compile it using npm run dev, and it will put all the things in the main public JS folder. So we want to bring that component, the React component that it has given us, and put it somewhere here. Let's try and do it. Try to find a place for our, right, there we go. Here, I think this is the good place to put that dummy component that Laravel has created for us while integrating the React, right, which was example JS. So first things first, I think we need to include that JavaScript file in our web page. So I think this is pretty easy. You have to, and I think most of you will know how to include a JavaScript file in the header or the body. This is already our JavaScript file is already required that example component, but we will try and do a quick test using alert to see if everything works. A very simple test. So this should work. It doesn't. Right. What could be the problem? Right. Let's go back. Right. Okay. I think we have to recompile, because after every change we have to recompile. So the best way to do that is to keep an eye on your file changes, is to run npm run watch instead of npm run dev all the time. So let's refresh it. Oh, it's still not working, which is annoying. Right, I think it could be cached. That's why it is not showing it. So we have to do a hard refresh. Let's inspect, before that, let's inspect if we have any errors in console, and I don't see any errors. So that means it is probably cached. Let's do a hard refresh. Okay, and yeah, so a hard refresh does the trick. Right, so basically we have, this shows that nothing more than the JavaScript file is included in our web page, and whatever we write here should be mirrored in our web page. So the other, now the challenge is to integrate the component, this component, somewhere in our web page. So this is our, they called it example, and it needs to be, there needs to be an ID in our main page. So right, let's go to our main page and make a div or something with the ID of example, and hopefully, simple as that, it should integrate, and we should be able to see our component in our web page, or this page. All right, example. Yeah. Okay. If we can spell correctly. Okay, so There are some, it's warning us about some of the things because the bootstrap it has installed is probably a little older. Right, so we can see the content of um, our example. So it's all because all we have to do in our main page is just to require that or include it. So that should do the trick. Right. This is not actually a React tutorial. This is just for the beginners how to integrate it or how to um, get started with React and Laravel. As you can see, it's not very difficult. Very simple. Um, I think we should do one more thing before finishing this, which is passing the props or the properties. Let's try and pass that. So name. Okay, so just remember to, if you're using that in pm run dev after every change, or use npm run watch, and it will automatically do everything for you. So there is still no error, but we can't see my name there. I think I've made a mistake somewhere. Must be a typo or must be something serious. Well, even typo is a serious mistake in programming. So let's go back to our code and see what is wrong with it. Right, yeah. So there shouldn't be a value because there is no value. And it shouldn't be props. It should be just prop. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, yep. So let's try that, and you can see my name now in there with the properties. So hopefully, again, you have learned something useful. And if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up, and we will really appreciate that. It will go a long way. Thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you. Bye. By the way, before going, you can change this function to a class, which is pretty simple if you wanted. You can easily search that. But for this lesson, I think that should be enough. Yeah, see you soon again. Thank you.